Mukuda and Fel are currently having their breakfast. Fel is eating mindfully while praising the grilled cockatrice. Mukuda explained that the trick is to cook it slowly, starting with the skin to make it crispy. At the same time, he's serving Fel more cockatrice, this time with lemon butter sauce and soy sauce. Fel commented that it has a lighter taste compared to the rockbird, but he still likes it. Mukuda said that it's like the difference between chicken and duck. Because of this, Fel is eager to hunt the monster again. After hearing about hunting, Mukuda got curious about how Fel hunts his prey. Fel explained that he uses claws and teeth, but for weak monsters with huge numbers, he prefers using his magic for efficiency. And he proudly talks about how he has been blessed by the goddess Ninrir, which has made his wind magic his strongest magic. Mukuda was amazed after seeing Fel's magic, and then he asked if it would be possible for him to use magic as well. Fel answered that it's possible as long as he has some magic power, so Mukuda checked his status window right away. After seeing that he had some magic power, he asked Fel how to use it. Fel answered that he just needed to think about it, but he realized that the way Fel used his magic wasn't applicable to him. He thought about it, then tried using fire magic, but nothing happened. Fel asked him what he was doing, which made him feel embarrassed. To help Mukuda understand better, Fel told him to touch his body so he could feel the flow of magic, then added that he would just need to practice more after this. Mukuda started practicing. He could cast a fireball now, and he proceeded to throw it as he tried to hit the can of meat sauce. His fireball is too weak, and it didn't come close to hitting the target, which is so pathetic that it even surprised Fel. Then Fel added that it should be expected due to his lack of training. Fel suggested that Mukuda needs some battle experience, but Mukuda didn't like the idea because he didn't want to get hurt. Then Fel answered that getting a few minor injuries is part of the process. However, Mukuda is still against it. Feeling annoyed, Fel dragged Mukuda with him. After finding a group of goblins, Mukuda is still reluctant to take action, so Fel howled to attract all the goblins towards their direction. But after seeing the goblins, Mukuda chose to run away instead. Fel gave him some instructions before leaving. After this, Mukuda didn't have a choice, so he started fighting back. However, he tripped while trying to maintain his distance from the goblins. When a goblin was about to hit him, a barrier came out to block the goblin's attack, which made him feel relieved. However, more goblins arrived and started attacking the barrier. Feeling desperate, Mukuda used fireball nonstop until he was about to pass out. At the same time, Fel came back to take care of the remaining goblins. It's already nighttime when Mukuda wakes up. He is still feeling tensed, but Fel asks him how his first battle experience was, while saying that it must have been a valuable experience. However, Mukuda looked annoyed as he answered that it was a terrible experience, and that he would have nightmares about it. But Fel praised him, saying his fireball was impressive before he passed out, while giving himself credit for Mukuda's improvements. Mukuda complained that, as a beginner, he shouldn't be thrown into the middle of a goblin settlement. Fel answered that it was his fault for showing so little progress, then realized that Mukuda's level had increased. Mukuda was excited about it, and he checked his status window. He was happy to see the improvements in his stats and that he now has fire magic as a skill. Then Fel suddenly took out a monster that looked like a huge goblin, while saying that it was a congratulatory gift. The monster is a goblin king. It is a high-ranking monster that has a magic stone. Although Fel was saying that it was a gift, in reality he thought that if they earn a lot from selling the monster, Mukuda will treat him again with Wagyu steak. However, Mukuda refused, saying they still have a lot of meat and money from the last time Fel hunted, so there won't be any treats for a while, especially the Wagyu beef. Fel gave up, but he still complained that he was hungry. Mukuda really regrets treating Fel to Wagyu steak. Then he got up to prepare their meal, but he was feeling dizzy as he fell back down again. Fel asked why he was acting foolishly. Mukuda was annoyed, but he responded that he was feeling exhausted, due to running out of magic. At the same time, he opened his online grocery store and purchased a lot of bread, thinking that they should eat something sweet. Fel found the smell peculiar, and he demanded meat. But Mukuda answered that he's too exhausted to cook. Then he started eating. He felt better after eating the sweet bread. Seeing Mukuda eating happily, Fel also started eating. He's amazed with the variations of the bread he's eating, and he finished all of it in no time. Then he asked Mukuda to serve him more. Mukuda was surprised that Fel also liked sweets, so he started opening more packs of bread, while lecturing Fel that he could get diabetes or cavities from eating too much sweets. However, Fel refuted the claim that it's not possible for him to get sick. Mukuda was surprised by his confidence. However, he explained that since he is blessed by the goddess Ninrir, he is immune to all poisons, sickness, and status ailments. Mukuda was surprised, and then he asked if it's also the reason why Fel is especially good at wind magic. Fel affirmed this while explaining that he was born with an innate talent for wind magic and that the goddess blessing made him even stronger. But he boasted that it's not easy to get the blessing of a goddess. Mukuda agreed, as being blessed sounds like a total cheat. Realizing the benefits of the blessing, Mukuda shouted at the sky, calling out the gods and Buddha while begging for the blessing. Then a lady was shown sitting on a well with a mischievous smile. They arrived at the town the next morning, but other people ran away from fear while seeing Fel, and because of this, a commotion broke out, which attracted the soldiers' attention. They surrounded them and pointed their spears at Mukuda and Fel. Mukuda took out his guild card right away, while explaining that Fel is his familiar. The soldier asked if Fel was a great wolf while being surprised that a new E-rank adventurer managed to tame a high-rank monster. Fel wanted to refute that he's not a great wolf, but Mukuda interrupted him before he could say anything. Fel started talking to him through telepathy, which surprised him. The soldier told Mukuda that it was guaranteed for a great wolf to cause panic, so he had to be careful when entering other towns. While the soldier was returning his guild card, Fel complained again that he was not a great wolf. Mukuda is still dumbfounded while experiencing telepathy, so Fel explained that they could converse through their minds since they established a familiar contract. Mukuda complained about why he hadn't told him sooner, but Fel answered that there was no need previously. While they were using telepathy, the soldier suddenly interrupted them, explaining Mukuda's responsibilities and punishment in case something happened. Mukuda felt afraid hearing about the punishments, but he agreed right away. Fel continued attracting attention while inside the town. Seeing how big the town is, Mukuda thought it was necessary to obtain a map. Before Mukuda tried to get a map, he decided that he should leave Fel at the inn stable first. Worried about his meal, Fel bombarded Mukuda with questions. He asked where he was going, what time he'd be back, and what he would do if he couldn't find a map. Mukuda answered that he would be back in the evening while calling out Fel for acting like a possessive boyfriend. Fel didn't understand what Mukuda meant, but he was annoyed, so Mukuda gave him some food and asked him to be quiet before leaving. Mukuda went to a bookstore, and while looking for a map, he found a book about magic, so he approached the store owner to ask for its price. The store owner answered that it is 7 gold coins. Mukuda was surprised, so the store owner explained that it is really expensive because it is made of paper. Through this, Mukuda concluded that paper is a rare item in this world. Afterwards, he asked the store owner if he was selling a world map. The owner answered that it wouldn't be available in the bookstore as it is a nationally restricted item. Mukuda left the store disappointed, but he thought of going to the town's library next. After arriving, he had to pay 2 silver coins to enter, but the library closed shortly after, which pissed him off. He has no choice but to return to the inn first. When he arrived at the inn, Fel was already sulking and complaining about how hungry he was, so Mukuda decided to prepare dinner right away. However, it didn't stop Fel from sulking, so he opened his online grocery store, bought yakitori and tonkatsu, and served them to Fel. Fel was curious of the food, so Mukuda explained what are these. Afterwards, Fel smelled it a bit before starting to eat. He was greatly pleased by the mixture of sweet and salty taste, so he continued eating while explaining the taste and texture of each piece. Then he proceeded to try the tonkatsu next. Fel's mood got much better, so Mukuda finally felt relieved. Once the rice is ready, Mukuda started eating as well. He had pork cutlet with Worcester sauce on top of his rice. Fel was drooling as he watched Mukuda eat. Mukuda was surprised that he still wants to eat. However, Fel demanded for more food while saying his meal was far from enough. While exploring the town, Mukuda ends up in front of the pub. He is a bit scared after entering, but he's desperate for information, so he has to endure. He managed to get some adventurers to give him some information after offering them some free drinks. They explained that after Rage Sedger changed to a new king, they have been starting wars to expand their territory, and that the most stable kingdoms right now are Ermin and Leonhardt in the east. They also explained that since these kingdoms have a lot of dungeons, they are also great for adventurers. After hearing about dungeons, Mukuda is interested, but he's scared of entering one. The adventurers were surprised after hearing that Mukuda had a hard time looking for a map. Afterwards, they started looking at each other before offering to sell a map to Mukuda. Mukuda got excited hearing it, and then they told him that it was a special gift from a retired adventurer that they knew. They managed to convince Mukuda to buy the map for 1 gold before proceeding to leave. After the group left, the adventurers around Mukuda started laughing. They revealed that the map Mukuda bought is available at the Adventurers Guild for 1 silver coin. He's annoyed that he got ripped off, but he understands that this is how the world works. Mukuda and Fell continued traveling the next day. Mukuda is still dejected after getting ripped off, but Fell consoled him by saying they could earn it easily, which made Mukuda feel better. Then he decided he wanted to head east to a country next to the sea. Hearing this, Fell could just think about how delicious sea serpents and croc hens are. Then they continued their journey. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and look forward to the next part.